and leaving the station, he was suddenly recalled for further questioning. At no point was a formal case file presented to him, nor was evidence presented to him or were any charges communicated. We find this approach both irregular and inconsistent with due process and the principles of rule of law. To be clear, while UNITE respects the rule of law and believes in due process, what we are witnessing is a deliberate abuse of process. It is even more disappointing and frankly shameful that an opposition movement it is even more disappointing and frankly shameful that an opposition party would stoop so low as to fabricate allegations against another opposition movement simply because they feel threatened by UNITE's rapid rise and growing dominance nationally. It is also completely illogical to suggest that a private citizen can access birth records or manipulate the registration system. Honorable Sanyang does not work for the Ministry of Health or work at the Records Office or the Independent Electoral Commission. He has no role or no authority and has no access to register voters. These claims collapse under the slightest scrutiny when looked at carefully. Even more alarming is the blatant double standard. There is credible public evidence of a very high government official caught on camera in multiple polling stations engaging in activities linked to voter registration processes, even allegedly fist-fighting an agent in Nabucco, yet no action has been taken against him. This raises serious questions about fairness, consistency, and the impartiality of law enforcement. UNITE is fully aware that there are individuals both within the government and the opposition who are deeply uncomfortable with our growth and our message. They see UNITE as the biggest political threat, and they are right. We are going to be the biggest political threat in this country because we are here to change the status quo. Instead of competing fairly, they are attempting to weaponize state institutions to slow us down. Well, they'll be surprised. I have continued to say that no human on the face of this earth can stop us, that it is only God who can. We remind the public of the words of Honorable Hamad Ba in Sukuta, where he openly admitted that they would do everything possible to stop UNITE because of the threat we pose. What we are seeing today is the beginning of exactly that. But let this be a warning to anyone attempting to intimidate us. UNITE will not be bullied. UNITE will not be silenced, and UNITE will not be stopped. We will contest these elections by God's grace, and inshallah we will win. We must also remind the public that these developments bear worrying similarities to tactics used during the era of repression and authoritarianism, where intimidation, pressure, and the use of state institutions were deployed against political opponents. Gambians rejected that system, and UNITE will never allow this country to slide back into these old ways. We will not allow this country to return to fear, intimidation, and political witch hunt. We call on the authorities to act professionally, transparently, and without bias. The law must apply equally to all, regardless of political affiliation or status. UNITE remains committed to protecting democracy, defending the rights of all Gambians, and ensuring that no citizen or political movement is subjected to intimidation or political motivated actions. Thank you. From now, we will also hear from Honorable Sanyang, and from there we will take questions. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, our able spokesperson, Kemo Bojang. I welcome the ladies and gentlemen of the press. I'm so impressed. The mics boycotted the minister when they responded to our spokesperson. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear. I have not been charged with any crime because I have committed no crime. I was invited by the police for questioning regarding issues related to birth certificates. These reports were made by members of UDP residing in my constituency, who it seems are in constant fear of my growing influence and commitment to the people of Latrikunda Sabi. As a National Assembly member and legal professional, I fully complied with the police invitation and cooperated at every stage of the process, which lasted only for a few hours. I want it known to the whole world, I will not be intimidated. My service to the people of Latrikunda Sabiji and by extension the Gambia remains unshakable. No man born in this world can intimidate me into cowardice or submission. As I have always stated before, I will continue to facilitate the registration of Gambians who possesses valid, legally approved documents so they can exercise their right to vote in 2026 presidential election and all other elections that are coming. In doing so, I do not dictate where people should cast their ballots. That is their sovereign choice. My priority is simply to ensure every eligible citizen is registered. To provide a typical example, during my door-to-door mobilization efforts in Abuko, which is in my constituency, I entered a compound where the residents were supporters of NPP. When I introduced myself as their representative and encouraged them to register, they asked if I would still assist them despite their political leanings. I told them my goal was to ensure they were informed and registered regardless of their party. I personally drove 4 first-time voters from that compound to registration center, waited for them and dropped them back home. One of them jovially remarked as I was dropping them back home, for the presidential election, we will vote for Barrow, vote for National Assembly election, we may vote for you, you are a good person. This illustrates that I do not facilitate registration to buy votes for specific candidate or for myself. I do it out of genuine sense of national service. I am still focused and a very determined person. I refuse every form of intimidation. In fact, as my friends and family can attest, I am allergic to it. I will never stop facilitating the rights of Gambians to participate in our democracy. To the supporters of Unite, I remember when we read them and asked that, what does stand together mean? Honestly, I was at the police station. I walked out to find thousands of Unite supporters on my hand and finally felt the weight of its meaning. Thank you for showing me solidarity, people from Unite and UMC. To Aziz Bensouda, Aziz was the first person to arrive at the police station. I have a story to tell that connects what I saw in him yesterday to a lesson from my past. Back when I was with the UDP during a National Assembly caucus at Hussein Dabo's office, he spoke of a standard of conduct we should emulate when dealing with ministers, a standard Aziz, he said, lives by. And Hussein Dabo said, and I quote, Aziz is one of the finest young legal professionals you could ever hope to meet in court. He is fearless, professional, calm and patient, yet he also your mastery of the law and the professional manner in which you have conducted yourself before the police. I agree sequence across UDP, NPP, and all parties in Latrikunda Sabi. Seeing supporters from across the political spectrum in my constituency to gather yesterday and stand by me was a profound honor. It confirms that I am serving my people to the best of my ability. More importantly, it proves that Gambians can unite to fight illegality and injustice, regardless of party colors. I am proud of you all, and may God bless you all. To the online misguided and certain UDP detractors, I have asked myself, when an opposition party will celebrate the troubles of one opposition member? The answer is simple. When a party loses hope of winning, they begin to attack and smear the one they fear can win. When I was among you, you hailed Yaya Menteng Sanyang as educated, brave, fearless, and honest. I am still that same person. Nothing has changed and nothing will change. I urge you to focus on your own party politics. Honorable Yaya Sanyang and Unite are pulling ahead in this race. The more you ignore your own programs to concentrate on us, the further we will widen this gap. There is no enmity here between us and you people. The only difference is vision and mission. To the government of the day, through this experience, I have seen the gaps in our laws. I urge you to work with the National Assembly and use your majority to fix these legislative loopholes. A government's lasting legacy is built on good laws. Every administration should strive for a legacy that protects its citizens as it is now, how history will remember you. Final clarification on the allegations. Let me be very absolute and let me be very blunt. I have never procured a birth certificate. I have never worked in any production center, nor I have ever visited one. I have never signed a certificate, nor encouraged anyone else to do so. I do not even have the technical capacity to verify authenticity of such documents. My role is that of a representative, not a civil registrar. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you.
Now we will entertain questions. Please, if you want to ask, tell us your name.
No, before that, I just want to summarize it in the local languages. Mandinka and Wolof, just for...
Yes, so anyone that want to ask any question, tell us your name and media.
Yeah, so Janimbo Kala, Mbela Fila Dorong, ka summarize, walang ka fodorong, nga mel ka chaja maniga account. Kom, mbeya moyle menke da wato kono, kunun nim kunun ko. And akera ko ning April kalo tritanin sewala honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang ay commandro so kabo police station on the bembe faji kunda ka fay ko UDP dimolu wala complaino sambaje ka foko ay molle mako pour e carte soto meli alon ko man kulti mi alon ko moyen kam walam doro itol nim borota de ko kata wala sambaje mboro do fanam ba fala ko honorable Sanyang kabrim police oli akumandi atane danku police ol lale ano kabra tata ilan ko police olla ay la moy police olla statement ay ala statement o di police station oto anu inata fa ko assassino so anara fo je fanan ko nyimmolu melmu nyul mu gambe di mollati mele alon ko atam politician olti anu nimmolu nata kay ko e kata carte fayolla na se dia mo kono ko atam nyim wato be kono kabrin lum folo fo bi abe menna doro wala kaje ko gammenol mel nyanta carte sotola isa findino nyaadi le quartier so tan mbebe o do ko kilimol in fact ndol be nyanta men kala wala nga honorable Sanyang emulate abe do ko menna gambe dingol be nyanta wala kala kadu nyum la nyantolti pour ka quartier nyini pour ka quartier fanam fay pour que la man sa fanan tombo kunum men keta on the 19th of April ti police ol kay ko pour asina somanda kabrata de danko somanda e kay ko assassino kabra seta inata ko mande ko de kay ko e nyinin karol le sote ba nyinin kala men bari mbala fila ka sanandi ko nyi wato be kono case file man di ala me ala ko safu ko nyina ala case file ti evidence fana mang evidence tandala ka foko evidence ni mol mel report ye nyina tandi anim fana iman charge ka file ko yenin neke wala yenin neke ndole nyin siroje ko ngaajo ko amanya nakela andum kadu loi mo kad niemo ko mandi e nyanda evidence tandi la le ka file ko ye report ol samana ning evidence lom wala ya charge ka file ko jani betar la sirinja yen nyin nyin neke anu loi man so wala ni loi loi ni tombo wala ofo bari wol be manke mamen sandi la mol la doron ko walam ko ndol unite mo be lon kulol la ani horomoni bunya annu luwa fata nga horoma baake nga bunya andu bilifta ko kol nyanda tala nyama anyanda tala wala nyama bari be men jaka njam walam ko mol la melan ko be siri la bon ko be siri la official ko no ila tan luwa kala faare moti ke fon la political tamani roke andu tolta sonna wala même fo en tolu nyokuya ani me yan jakal walam ko gambe jandam nga ja oppositional kel katu meli tata ye ni report o samba oppositional lo ya lon ko to nyati la ko kono ya lon ko evidence table bari katu unite la do ko men na ni silo men soto na ko me banko be murumurun kan na molbe dula beto katu kudu men keda la na police station do mo be aja mo wuli wulol findita nan ko ina solidarité tandi ndol bello na wolon kan wole nyum mol silan moto mba fala mole doron ko fanan ko nin mol melalon ko hakil mal ya ne ko aman sense make ana man possible ka foko mo me alon ko amanke l'hôpital do kulati amanke civil registration wala amanke independent electoral commission wada kayti dila no mola me alon ko asamo register no ka dum honorable Sanyang buka do ke l'hôpital no abuka do ke records office amanke civil registration amanke alkality men sa attestation di no mola wada honorable Sanyang be kayto sot la nyaadi le kam mol ma ko pour register ñing ni aji be baake mi ako scrutinize e kala ne ko amang long kantal motawoto me même fala doro wolam ko kuol ke dañu banko kan logo ni logo men tambita nga moja man sakunda do kula ba me alon ko place o babul man sakunda atata police station olto mbe alon ay mel ke je dula do bi fo abuko ye evidence tandi ka fo ko aning mota wala ngaje fanan tanje men keta je o mari hani bi nenema moy ko police ol ya ko man nyen kar la wala kula ndol jikita ko evidence ba men to me alon ko natalol bije nim ku be kala nin nyen kar be kala wala nyanda ko man la ay nyen ka bar wo kol man kay bi na nyim banko kan mbota oto mba fala ko ngalo ne membe kere nyim banko kan ngalo ne ko molbe man sakunda ani mol dol fa opposition oto meli alon ko ndolla tarnya aninna nyabo wole gal uncomfortable ndi andi man hanyin na lon kan wala ya ye United jele ko ndolle la biggest threat andi to nyala wala ndolle la biggest threat ka tum kasara do ni tinyaro may ter nyim banko kan United pare ka wala bondi jang andum nadia ale wo bakela wo bataje mbe amoy honorable Ahmad Ba, Minister of Local Government and Lands sukuta meto menketa NPP la meto ay mel foje nin kuwol me men jakam bi jikita ko ku kilimol lo kada a foje ko nadia ale ndolle la problème oti andi ba jelale ko ibe tol stop la nyame ndolle ya believe ko yani honorable Sanyang target men o ku kilimolo ilafta kan nakarle ba nadia ale ita nakar non bari mba fala mole fana mba mol ya mar lambe dandalala ka foye ko momo me amira ko isantol silandino wallahi ke fanna batandi ka tun tolu motan tol silandila motan tol deindila no andu motan tol stop no nadia alay nin December 2026 electional melkana United be contest la andu nadia alay United la ba gagner mba fala mol fana yako na melde jang bala menketa kunu anin kunu ko aya worindi bakele ka tum be alone maral sifa me menu banko kan wo maral kilimo nga wala je ko aka kuwo sikandi nan koten bar nadia ta alay United ba make sure la ko wota kala jang kadu kabrin tolbe lola na même fo wolam ko falin won nata wala sama nyim banko kan andu nadia ta alay wo falin kilimo mba jalal ayeke mba fala mole daran ko United sonna gambe muru silo kono nda sonna mol melbe mansakunda ke la sembo use ka mol batandi anu nda sonna mansakunda ka la sembo use ka operational fana batandi mba fala mol melbe ba mansakunda mel ya longo place be bulu isala ko gambe di wolle ke wo place to isala fana ko ye sembo soto bin tolla dina woto isa ibe mala nyame salon isa ko doman ka do nyum banko mum belta ala baraka baki so waaw mbokk yi maa ngi leen di gërëm di leen sant di leen wax ne luñ lañ ooyee fii rek mooy pour waxtaan ak yéen li nga xam ne moo xew si bés yi nga xam ne ñoo romba nii ñëpp umput leen ne gis neen injustice ak targeting bi nga xam ne lañ def honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang parce que on the 18th of April mooy si weer buñ nekk nii honorable Sanyang police yi owoon nañ ko si Fajikunda police station di ko wax ne membres yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk UDP biir Fajikunda ñoo dem joxe report foofu ne moom bokkoon na si ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi doon jàppale nit ñi nga xam ne waruñoo am kayit pour ñu am kayit pour mun a sànni karta ñu ngi leen a wax rek ne benn dëgg nekkul si wax yi parce que buñ fa demee wane wuñ benn evidence wane wuñ dara li nga xam ne moo mun a wane ne lu gaay di wax dëgg la waaye yaaxa rek lañ bëggoon a def buñ fa demee honorable Sanyang di nit ki nga xam ne lu wala jàng nangu dem si police station bi bu mu fa demee police yi wax ko ne dañ bëggoon a jël dañ bëggoon a laajte pour xam lan moo xew mu joxe statement am bu mu fa jógee ñu ne ko na dellu si élection bu mu delloo si élection mu nekk 19 of April police yi ñu ne ko ne mun naa dellu wala mun naa ñibbi mu ñibbi yaagaatuti rek ñu owaat ko ne ko ne foog mu dellu si dañ am yeneen question yu nga xam ne lañ ko bëggoon a laajte waaye maa ngi leen a bëgg a yëgal ne si waxtu bii amul fenn fi nga xam ne won nañ honorable Sanyang evidence amul fenn fi nga xam ne wax nañ ko ne am nañ case file si yëf yi amul fenn fi nga xam ne charge nañ ko wax ko ne loo def jaarut ak yoon bii ñu gisee ne du li nga xam ne moo war a xew parce que nit boo ko ooyee war nga koo wax ne evidence bii lañ am si yow case file number bi lii la ak ne loi bi loi bi nga yaaxa waaye lii yëpp amul si li nga xam ne lañ moo am si ñun suñ jokkante ak police bi waaye maa ngi leen di bëgg a wax rek leen na ne ñun United ñëpp xam nañ ñu si yar ak teggin te xam nañ ne ñun di ñi nga xam ne dañoo yaaxal loi waaye dinañ leen wax ne duñ nangu li nga xam ne du yoon pour mu nekk li nga xam ne am na démb ak Gambie yëpp gis nañ ne junne ñu génnal si nañ pour stand in solidarity ak honorable Sanyang wane rek ne United du nangu kenn ki nga xam ne dafaa jël doole foog ne dina ko mun a jaarale suñ kaw jógee si loolu li nga xam ne sax moo ñu gën a disappoint mooy ne wax yi nga xam ne amul benn dëgg moo li nga xam ne moo si bokka dafa jógee si beneen opposition party muy UDP parce que ñun gëm nañ ne su nekkee da nga accuse nit foog mu jaar si yoon mi nga xam ne am nga evidence ñaari bés si gannaaw rek am na Fajikunda station tamit UDP members of UDP accuse on nañ fi NPP ne dañ nekk di register nit mu dem ba bu gaa defee police case jigéen gi ñoo génne audio ne dafa apologize ne lu mu wax dëgg nekku ci so foog ñu bàyyi suñu xel bu baax a baax li nga xam ne duñ tooñante parce que politique jarut ko ñu jógee si loolu di wax ne lii wax la di nga xam ne taxawut fenn taxawut si dara li nga xam ne moo dëgër parce que honorable Sanyang liggéeyut si lopitaan honorable Sanyang du nit ki nga xam ne dafa register nit si birth certificate honorable Sanyang liggéeyut IEC kon honorable Sanyang naka la mun a joxee nit carte loolu laajte la mi nga xam ne Gambien yi war nañ koo laajte loolu lu mu wanee rek ne mooy ne wax yi soo ko dégloo bu baax a baax di nga xam ne taxawut fenn fi nga xam ne dafa dëgër ñu jógee si loolu double standard yi nga xam ne lañ gis mooy ne am nañ evidence mi nga xam ne wonee na ne am na ki nga xam ne mu ngi si nguur gi am doole lool gis nañ ko si polling station yu bëri di dem foofu di disrupt process bi di disrupt système bi ba amoon na abu ko fi nga xam ne accuse nañ ko ne dafa xeex foofu ak agent dara génnu si police yi waxuñ si dara soo gëm nañ ne double standard moo nekk di looloo nekk di go on ñu jógee si loolu ñu ngi wax nit ñi ne United yëg nañ ne am na ñi nga xam ne ñun si opposition bi ak ñi nga xam ne ñun si nguur gi ñi nga xam ne they are uncomfortable si ñun suñ jëm kanam ak naka leen mel tey si dëkk bi ñooñu United lañ gis as seen ennemi waaye man lu ma leen bugg a wax rek mooy ne na gars yi concentrate ñu politique jaay seen candidate jaay seen programme comme lu United nekk di def parce que ñun duñ nangu fii kenn jël nguur gi ne da ngaa use nguur gi pour xeex ñu loolu du fi mu sa mun a am parce que man lu ma fi wax rek mooy ne bépp doomi Adama amul doole mi nga xam ne di nga stop United bu soobee yàlla yaara rek moo am doole mi nga xam ne mooy wax ne dara du am te du am waaye maa ngi leen a yëgal ne bu soobee yàlla United dina contest election bi te bu soobee yàlla dinañ ko gañe parce que ñun góom nañ ne Gambien ni ñun lañ bugga te góom nañ lu ñoo jaay te dinañu sànnil karta maa ngi leen di remind rek ne tamit ne lu may wax nii ñëpp dégg nañ honorable Amat Bah bi mu demee Sukuta lu mu fa wax si rally bi du wax foofu ne United ak boys yi ñooy seen problème te ñoom dinañ jëf yëpp li nga xam ne mun nañ ko pour stop boys yi waaye maa ngi koo wax ne bu soobee yàlla amul doole boobu te kenn amul doole boobu si réew mi nga xam ne di nga wax ne da ngaa stop United maa ngay wax tamit ne ñu yëgal nit ñi ne luñ gis si bés yi nga xam ne moo romba fàttalekuloo nañu trop li nga xam ne moo daan xew si dëkk bi waaye maa ngi leen di wax ne bu soobee yàlla United dina taxaw ñu make sure ne kenn du use doole parce que doole bi nga xam ne yaa ngi si nguur nga am ko nit yàlla ko jox nit yàlla sànnil carte da nga mën a am doole boobu United du nangu kenn nga jël doole boobu ne da ngaa sonal doomi Gambia United du nangu kenn nga jël doole boobu nga ne da ngaa sonal yeneen political party fii bu soobee yàlla duñ ko nangu maa ngi leen di gërëm di leen sant di leen wax ne seen mbokk yi la United Party nga xam ne ñoo nañ fii pour waxtaan ak yéen jërëjëf.
Mandinka version. Yo, assalamu alaikum. Ngal be kundong altonal kundong dambe falam be. Okay, ko nga afale nyamen dron police wali yang kumandle nte man tanake imang tumi tanala kadu man tanake bidi wobotala mine nyin sabu wala mu UDP dingo dol ben constituency mine yalan ko be slering net darajo anina ngana constituency mo nafa nyame be slering wala bari to kanyina fa mo leko ndeka mo register fang pour 2026 pour National Assembly election men kana 2027 ninda National Assembly ya nyini 2027 auto United le menta mambe nyaje ko honorable Yaya Sanyang alota latri kunda sabi ji député ay nyinola auto alon ko 5 December United le neku ya bar nin tol winter 2026 presidential 2026 presidential election wala ndebe miral kudola même manqué député ay nyinola bari ila silo nyi be silo men nan say ani man député ay nyini bari ñu tambita momo ñaato lati kunda sabi constituency wolbe député ya place winna pour United ndemu loi de laldi anu ngata kidi mo folon ka loi ko je so these are two unique characteristics about me. I make the law and I also go to the courts to ngata ndemu loi de laldi anu mu loyal fandi men ko ngata kidi bu ngoto so wala na birim police wala en commandi in fact kunu do fa mo fo assisté e kay honorable ni nga commandi drone within 10 minutes aka futa jan abanka ko njote yate because mba make so kan loi fen fo ntengo gay because ni dunda loi kono loi be denda da do imalo o do loi fen nyininka idunda loi la problem kono wat ma loi fen nyininka make so ya obey because obey counts in the courts so wala na ni en call drone kunu fay ben call la time moment enter kulli dula immediately rosta nga make so ko loi men fo ngok anu lafta dunia be alon pour ndenga lati kundan kolu nga do ko ke wole ke register men yalan ko banque dingol lemud andi tambita sanjita ni selele mo tente silandi la wala pour ngoke o mo ma wulu dunia ko membe ndesil la pour ngoke ana manke lati kunda sabi ju drone gambia dingo be gambia dawda il afta register la ya men ko 100 fambe na moto dal ngi def registration center pour le register mbakle o tan dana lati kunda sabi jo bakela gambia bele ndeka nyinkele mbuka fo moy ko a fay honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang National Assembly election o a fay Talib Bensouda 2026 presidential election nga nyinkele rom pour banque dingolu ila civil right e register pour ya carte fay 2026 presidential election mbe nga kuma kilim faje mbe muru wala abuko because ndaka menga nga dum kordale nga fay ko registration be kedne ali register ndunda korda kilim ko no gay kunda kan still remember nge taraje bi ngam fang introduce boy kilim beje woyen suite o kanya ko etle mo national assembly nga ha ngay ko registration be kilim fale akalam tala bang mero na da mero ko nyako habari ndolla jang tolbe NPP la nga hani ngay ko nte man tala mo register kan ka fugo be parti of be carte la député di anu registration be kerine pour nga register o suwa kono mo nan beje melan ko first time voter sa nyine be carte fay dot la ngebul ndina mo to ko nge samba fo ab ko concurrent school ye register nge murina bin be silo kan kilimo be fe ko nyako president carte fayo mbo fay la adam barol bari takay askeno député carte fayo ngo fay kadi mo kendol ndala naham ko mo nyene don gambeno le register and ye carte fay in 2026 presidential election me united dingol biringa ambano tala stand together mbendi madrop kan kramundo akonye baba minem stand together wolungol lala I was out of ideas malong nga fayne don kay wolum ko nga mole tafu nyokan bar kunum pour stand together nga men sa fen amban ba kun ne ngala 2 minutes lo because birin fit na police station ko nga united dingotra wilwilol ibelorin ibe mbatu kan wa tande ko na amban bala membe je stand to no projet assist Bensouda assist le mo folot même futata police station bari assist ko nga fanya men nga story so about assist wato mbe UDP tata party leader la office Ousseynou Dabo minister Sol Ousseynou konka minister Sol akonka minister Sol nyininka nyamen na dibe television ro abuka happy akonya ko I wish Aziz is a National Assembly member akoni you will be very proud of Aziz ni Aziz benda court gele kalonko akamtale is one of the best legal professional in this country and asuna da fonfena witness asuna da fonfena sedo bulu akasotole usen na nyum fanyal office kon akon ni Aziz la dandiko nin tol National Assembly member solio soto in the National Assembly nsulota fonfena minister solbulu mba sotala bar kuno lata usene même fanye wolungo bi kunne lata wala birin Aziz for police station very professional andu ay loi for police ole loi teke nyambe ngatande ko Aziz mo molti melanko abuka kufan fatiyala mo fatingol mat yala modol kufana ko men tol ya Menteng Sanyang sifal nga kufan fatingol nga kufana ko fatiyata bar Aziz molti melanko abe deiring bara nyom mo fatingote nyim banko kanja ningo baraje na constituency molu UDP nkolu NPP nkolu aning all the parties kunumbe birimbe num police station okol UDP ko men duntaje asiyate ba ndenge lod ni be nyoko sangi saba NPP ko men duntaje asiyate ba parti dingo men duntaje asiyate ba way mi na tan dintala kunu wol mo nyinti ko tonya ngana mol safle an tonya na parti yeli na parti na constituency dingol yan kanul go ko ngafa nyama UDP dingo men dunta kan kunu it wo nta continue NPP dingo men dunta kan ta continue ani ko da parti dingo so way tan de ko I'm very proud of myself ko ngana mol safle mbe saf kan anu mbe continue ke saf atan ay ku kilim fan tan dinako Gambia non sinano nyokande nin kube ker me alon kan luwa manta so ayo flantandi na number 1 benna mo safka number 2 gambenol kafno nyokane nga kuke la ko me alon ko ngaje ko ani luwa manta na mbadi UDP kol men yalan ko itolle ñun ko be dat na yamaro wolu ntol unite ntol we are moving forward moten tol drag la behind opposition party fighting opposition party abe opposition other party la fenjo ñing celebrate kan wala trouble ñing celebrate kan what is very unfortunate or ndebe ñina fala mbadi UDP kole alkan dia mun tole ñamin alkan tol fo ñamin ntol ka tu ko mawla ñam because ñing election ko ndon from position as the leading party so ngamira alla party la programme sa na alla policies alla presidential candidate alla wasel ali ñina unite la because the gap between us and you is too much, it's too widened. So I advise la ala program and policies ñol fenje ale ñina honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang and unite because until we are going to move forward and fennet stop as kemo ya funyame until moving forward even we are capable of even breaking a mountain until we are so powerful that we will do anything to make sure that we contest 2026 presidential election legitimately more to stop la so mbe other opposition party yamar la mbe fa yamar la and mbe unite dingol yamar la the opposition dangal nga fatanyola nga make sure every opposition party yela promise ni la you fulfill e be mo fol Gambia dingol ndama la ñina ñol birembe UDP bari nga kujuma read online these days birembe UDP momang UDP man National Assembly member soto iko même fatiata men tambe dantel nka be moy bari bi iko man karang iko man fatia iko man fenke I'm very dishonest. Do you understand? I'm the same honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang. I'm still very the same. Fende man talambala in fact fone fem fon la fata ito la ñi karam même fo fone na karam la fata ye ñi fatia même fo fone na fatia la banta fone na fatia la fata bara mang fenje is the same person bita fala ko karamu ñineti bugo sa ni la pol manta ñokan yeton oda bugo gamben sa listening so my message to them is honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang mom faling mbe ñamale nim falinte alon ko mbe falina ku kendolal ban nante falina pour ku jaw ala barka tangi verma
Thank you. Like we said earlier, please, we want to focus on this topic. Anything that we are asking should be related to this matter. Thank you. Tell us your name and your media house, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Mundoja. I'm working for the KM Online Radio. I have two concurrent questions, one for KM, one for Honorable.
I am the only one answering questions.
Okay. Yeah. So I have two. Other one will be for Honorable. So first, we want to understand, because Honorable have been released by the police, but we want to establish the fact whether he is on bail or he has been released unconditionally. And the second question is, during your deliberation, you have been saying that there was a government official, a top government official, who have been found of doing fraudulent activities in Abuko and also Kandi. So just to be clear, we want to know who among these government officials are you talking about? Thank you.
So thank you very much. Your questions are appreciated. I think, like I mentioned, Honorable Sanyang was bailed yesterday when the police had nothing else to ask. He was bailed, and there was no evidence provided, and there was no charges also levied against him. So we are still waiting, as they have said, or as we have heard in the media, that they are still doing their investigations. So that is just what happened yesterday. For the second question, I think you are the journalist. You are the one who should tell us who that individual is. Because,
it's not our press conference.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that I got this... Sorry. Yes, I got this information from the media, and I got this information from the general public. And I'm sure you are also in the media, and you're also in the general public, and you know who this individual is.
No, I can't.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, but I can assure you that there are not only one, but multiple government officials who are going around, who are doubling in the process, and shouldn't double in the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I'm Sharif, from Civil Press. Saya ini kalau kita menyeramkan I may never answer that, but question of brutality. But anyway, beri ya arrest follow ke, o ya kuma de put affection. Abu da je ko denge, kuma fana same thing ina da kuma de la. Kamne so do baro to police ye the investigation of no, ye kudol le fana nyame ya ko akuma tale, wala na fana ya kuma de la. Bari ate ala hero to fire suto ya kuma but difference of jele ba beri ya kuma de follow ke station of and in Kumbria, the difference will be about in terms of the evidence that coming the okay.
So, understanding Yaya were at the station from day before yesterday, Honorable Sanyang. Kununko navigate for Suto, Kunun for the same thing. I can tell you for a fact, nothing was presented to him. Ntolemen believe volonko there are people many alonko they are uncomfortable with all actions because they are jealoka abedu kendo mena united and they are using this kajibe iba intimidate la nyami. Because we are no haken no nyimbanko comme ikamo commande ka ta si police station e ko wala ye police ki mo kay ka ya mo sidil lakini dol ya believe ko wala la fakela bari ya make sure ko womanki katu niemo commande e ka ko me investigation on or new things have come up iba fala na ko nanyi nyi wala nanyi nyi moy bari womanki the statement on the first day was statement kilimo in fact ya commande la ko tendoro ikaya ko not la mbe kulle jibe kambe investigation but nothing else happened ndolbe bi jele no the station and I also want to say we are grateful to the staff of the police at the Fajikunda station. They were very professional. Katumbeya understand the situation they are in. The long service is obey and complain later. We know ko menketa amanke sauti mba fala jane let it be on record ngalone ko people were there they were trying to manipulate the system and civilians Melalon ko hanna ke ibe orders from the top, which in itself is illegal. At least now botela senior leto akafisiali. But civilian no etara siri. Kata miraka symbol soto. Kata police micromanage la adiata nyame. Wo era banta jimbanko kan andata kala kote.
Thank you, Jao.
Yeah, thank you so much. I am Ismail Sonko, work for Toy News Bureau. Yes, directly to Mr. Honorable Sanyang was answering the question. My question is, this is the formation of character against the right honorable Honorable Sabi, and there's no formal charges, and they are released. They are not evident. So we want to know the position of him as legal-minded person, whether we also accuse him for this, or that we are not legal action from him to take it to court for us.
Yes, we will discuss with our legal team, and we will do. We will come out with the necessary steps needed. But I can tell you that as a politician, you must expect these things, especially as an opposition politician in Africa. We have taken a big risk to fight for our country and to make sure that we effect change the right way. When we were getting into politics, we knew that these things will happen, but we still took the sacrifice because we believe in what we are doing. But I'm just reiterating, the Honorable Sanyang is not one to be intimidated, and Unite are not people that will be intimidated. This is the reason we are even here speaking to you, is to show defiance against the system that is today. And we will continue to show defiance, and we will take it to any length that the people that feel that they can use power to suppress us want to take it.
Let me just, this is a very important question. I'm very sorry. Mr. Sonko, you see, as a politician, you have, when you accept public office, you have given up your right to privacy, and that one you should understand. As a politician, you cannot go to court for everything against you and use that defamation law. You go to the court because somebody defamed you. Then you go to court every day. So to answer your question, I'm not charging anybody for defamation.
Yes.
Okay.
Johnny and media house, please.
My name is Bishan Baro, upright media. I want to ask about the child violence accord signed by your party. And many people believe that the onset that this accord is just on paper, not on this accord with the implemented by the parties involved. So what is your position when it comes to the child violence accord signed by UMC?
Yes. First of all, the divergence agreement wasn't signed with UDP. The divergence agreement or the divergence accord was signed with members of APEX. We signed the agreement because we believe we are people of law, we are people of statute, and we have continued to show that. Nobody will tell you that a member or a senior member of Unite has been seen violating that accord. We are only responsible for our actions and what we can do. We cannot babysit other members of other political parties. I think political parties need to take responsibility for the actions of their members and make sure that if they are getting into an agreement, they make sure that they uphold the terms and conditions of that agreement. Unite will continue to uphold the divergence accord because we are still members of APEX, and we believe that we haven't violated it in any way necessary, and we will continue to do that to the best of our ability. What other political parties do is up to them, and I think it will be up to APEX to decide what action needs to be taken next. But we can only be responsible for our actions, and we have been responsible for our actions. If other parties cannot put their members in check, that's up to them. It just shows the indiscipline amongst the ranks of that party, but doesn't show anything towards Unite.
Thank you.
I'm Abu Wakar from the State Network. So my question is, I have three specific questions. So, does Unite believe there is a pattern of intimidation targeting officials involved in the station pattern? So the second one will be, what specific impact has these incidents happened to the station in the last time? So, yeah, the third one, will this matter be raised in the National Assembly? What action are you seeking from your fellow
Okay, I think that some of these things have to react. Yeah, to answer your questions, if there is pattern of intimidation, and as far as I'm concerned, I will refuse it. So it's not applicable. If there is any visible pattern of intimidation targeted to me, I refuse it with an attitude. Therefore, it's not applicable in this sense. Your second question, whether, if you look at my statement, that's why I say, message to the government, they have the majority National Assembly members. What I saw yesterday is quite a lot of gaps in our laws. Do you understand? And most of the private member base you take to the National Assembly, the majority camp will bully us with their numbers. So that's why I advise the government, and I urge the government by extension, let them talk to their National Assembly members. Some of us who are legally minded, we can be able to look at the laws and look at this gap. Do you understand? Look at these lacunas in our laws, so that we will be able to table private member bills. But our private member bills will not pass through the floor of the National Assembly if we don't have the majority vote. That's why in my speech I advise the government to prevail on their majority camp or their majority numbers in the National Assembly and allow members to bring private member bills so that we can remedy or fix these lacunas that we have in our laws.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just one follow-up question.
So we will take just one.
I just want to understand, because Kemo mentioned that you are on bail. Are there any conditions attached to your bail? Just to be clear.
There is no condition attached to my bail. In fact, what I wanted to insist was I should have even given myself self-bail. At my status as National Assembly member, there are legal rulings in this country. At my status, I can be able to give myself self-bail. But when I told the police about it, they insisted on the other way around. I don't want to insist further. But there is no, answer your question explicitly, there is no condition attached to my bail, okay?
We are just taking two more questions. Sorry, the other guy behind, please. Then we will take you around. Thank you. Your name and media house, please. Yes.
Okay, my name is Kauda Bio News Network. I want to ask Honorable Kemo, when is IEC going to register Unite?
We are basing the conversation.
I just want to know when you are going to.
Let's listen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bayo. Your question is very important, but like we said earlier, we want to be focused on this topic. So we can do that in another press conference, inshallah. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, from Nyangen to Latrikunda, and I was there at Bunsubi when that that person was brought to the station there. I arrived and then the lady was leaving, going. She even declined to talk to me, understand? I follow up with the police, no comment. It's like, it's a pattern. But don't you think the reason why the police continue to do this, or the executive continue to do this, is because the opposition are not working together? Even though I understand the case in Latikunda, as Yaya said, he was reported by the members of the United Democratic Party. But don't you think it's because of the opposition are not working together?
It is not the responsibility of the opposition. In the sense that when I say that, what I'm trying to say is that to do well and to do righteous, you don't need someone else to tell you that you need to do righteous. When laws are made, it is our responsibility to follow them as individuals. So if you know what you're doing is illegal, it is up to you to make sure that what you are doing, you stop what you're doing. So in the sense that the opposition not working together, I think it's a Gambian responsibility, and not just the responsibility of the opposition parties. Granted, we have a bigger state because we are contesting 4 elections. But this just raises more questions about the Electoral Act in itself, and how we need to look into, redefining what it really means to have an Electoral Act as a country. That's one. 2, what are some of the changes that we need in our electoral system and our electoral process? Like I mentioned, because the system is not working the way it's supposed to work, this is why an individual, a civilian, can call the police and tell them to release or detain an individual, because the system is not working the way they're supposed to work. It is because of the laxes in our system that a governor will not follow due process and call an alkali and tell the alkali that I am going to seize your stuff. It is because of the lapses in our system that someone will be detained where there's ample evidence and the individual is released. It is because of the lapses in our system that our member of parliament, where there is no evidence, will be called for questioning and told to sit and wait because we have a lapse in the system. What the government needs is a reform, electoral reform, and general, we need to reform our laws. And I think the separatist report was released a few days ago, and it just showed how people have lost faith in the police. I think this is something that when we had change in 2016, we spoke about security sector reforms. But up till now, no tangible evidence has been seen when it comes to security sector reforms. This is why I think government needs to engage people with the technical know-how and expertise to support them, like Honorable Sanyang has said. But again, it is important that we as oppositions also support and work together, because in the end, our goal is the same, to see a progressive, well, we believe our goal is the same. We believe that we want to see a Gambia that is progressive, we want to see a united Gambia, and we want to see a Gambia that serves every citizen and every member of this country. But in a nutshell, Unite will continue to call for reforms. Unite will continue to call for a system where, having a system that is fraud-proof, and a system that will serve the purpose that we intended for.
Thank you. We will take the last question from that lady. Yes, young lady on the hand.
My name is Mr. Esther from the town of Stevie, and these allegations came from the opposition part. So do you think if the trend continues within the opposition, can bring any changes to the country?
We have 23 political parties in this country. We don't have one opposition party. So just because one opposition party is not doing what is needed to be done, or they are becoming something else, it doesn't mean other opposition parties cannot work together. Just a few days ago, we saw opposition parties like the NUP, the NDP, and also other parties, coming together in Bakari Sambuya. That is a very positive step and in the right direction. Yesterday, when this happened, I got a call from a lot of opposition parties, showing solidarity. That shows that indeed the opposition is working. And I want to also make something clear. Never have we had a two-legged race in this country. In 2016, even when we had change, there was a party that went on its own. It doesn't, so just because you think you are the biggest, you cannot bully anybody into believing and working with you. And I want to make the category clear, the Gambia is bigger than any political party. So no party will bully us into working with them or making sure that what they say happens. Unite will continue to engage all political parties in this country because we see them as partners. And if anybody doesn't want to work with Unite, that's up to you. You have every right to not to work with Unite. But we have also every right to work with parties we think are like minds. Yeah, thank you.
I missed a very important question from that door, where you say whether this has affected the participation of residents of Latrikunda to the decision process.
Yeah.
Let us ask that question.
Yeah,
yes. To answer your question, this has not affected the participation, the courage, the determination of residents of Latrikunda to participate in this registration process. In fact, yesterday I received more calls than ever that they want to register. So to answer your question, it has not affected their participation. Okay?
So
No, direct into the moderator.
Please listen to the complaint first.
Okay, we have some of us red light jail bottom because mom you know my go by. Comment is the last week. Thank you, bro. See you in another press conference.
alimana ki dala jël comme que da ngeen leen dajale nit ñi fu ñu leen registré gis neen yoo xam ne tuumaan la ñu gis ci yu bari bokk na ci Kanje Fajikunda ak ki nga xam ne mooy nekk Latrikunda gis ne tuumaan ne ñi ngi registré ñoo xam ne ay xale lañ ak kayit yoo xam ne wéru pour ñu registré ban jéego ngeen def pour ñi nga xam ne da ngeen leen di dajale pour ñu leen ñu registré ban jaay ngeen leen def ba ñu am document yi nga xam ne moom lañ soxla ci
waaw amee loolu nekkul liggéeyu political party loolu liggéeyi Ministry of Health la ñun du ñuy toppatool kenn kayit ñun lu ñoo def rek mooy mobilize nit ñi ne time registration jot na jógal nga dem register yow soo moo tax nag mu important political party yëpp am agent bu nekkee ne foog nga ne ki nga xam ne ñëw na te waaye baax na trop tam ñu bàyyi xel trop parce que amet boo nee Gambien lan mooy Gambien ak kan mooy Gambien parce que tey am na Bojang man Bojang la am na Bojang yi nga xam ne nekkuñ Gambien am na Touré yi nga xam ne waa Mauritanie la am na Njaay yi nga xam ne sénégalais la am na Diallo yi nga xam ne Guinéen la soo naka ngay xamee ne kii Gambien la ndax du Gambien mooy kayit bi nga xam ne la andi bu dee ne yow foog nga ne ki nga xam ne andi na kayit yow sax mi nga xam ne agent nga amuloo benn right pour disrupt système bi looy def nga binda te ñun moo tax ñu train suñ agency moo tax si wax yi nga xam ne di nga ko dégg yëpp doo dégg member of Unite agent of Unite di stop nit wala wax nit dara parce que train nañ suñu agent yi wax naa ko si interview ma def ne 3 months jël nañ ko ñu ngi jàngal suñ nit ñi naka lañ war a jëlee process bi bu dee foog nga ne am na ki nga xam ne am na kayit warul koo am binda ko moo tax nga dee am forme bi nga xam ne IEC dañ la ko dee jox boo bindee forme bi nga xaar revising code dina am bu revising code jotee nga dem fa IEC officer sax du immigration officer yow mi toog foofu doo immigration officer yow sa liggéey mooy da ngaa represent sa parti bi bu ne dem nga ba nga def sa report su waxtu bi jotee nga yóbbu ko revising code foofu nag loi la te ñun am nañ confidence si loi bi parce que gagné nañ fi case yu bëri against the state barka Dembo Njaay fii la nit gagné case against the state so ñun am nañ confidence in the judiciary gëm nañ ne bu demee foofu bu soobee yàlla ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi noonu comme justice Ibrahima Jayti dinañ def li nga xam ne moo war a am si dëkk so man maa ngi wax rek ne ñun toppatawuñ kenn kayit just pour correct loolu ñun lu ñuy def as a political party mooy dañoo mobiliser suñ nit ñi parce que di nga desi rek di nga gis suñ moto yi around ak ay mic di wax nit ñi ne registration jot na ñun rek ñoo nekk ak def loolu political party fii ñun rek mooy suñ député yi ak councilor yi di dugg si kër yi di wax nit ñi ne génn si leen ngeen dem sànni karta ñun ngay gis suñ ko netoo ak seen motocycle yi di make sure ne polling center yëpp am na ay nit ñi nga xam ne war nañ faa nekk so ñun lu ñoo wax rek mooy ne képp ki nga xam ne Gambien nga gëm nga ne sa kayit bi lew na am nga right pour nga dem sànni karta képp ki nga xam ne tam doo Gambien génneel sa loxo si suñ élection parce que ñun tamit duñ dee perform si keneen élection waaye nag ñi nga xam ne ñooy nekk si polling center yi ñu bàyyi seen xel bu baax parce que gis nañ fi dëkk yi nga xam ne mel na comme South Africa xénophobie nu mu fa yaaxee yow doo mun a wax kenn ne doo Gambien naka nga xamee du Gambien parce que even bu nekkee nit ki judduwut fii waaye toog na fi 15 years am na right pour apply nekk citizen so bu apply nekk citizen mu nekk citizen yow naka nga mën a waxee ne kooku du Gambien so moo tax ma bëggoon a clarifier loolu rek xam naa ne yaatal naa waxtaan bi tuuti waaye parce que xam naa am na ñu bari ñi nga xam ne ñu ñoo déglu te ñun as politician tamit dañ am responsibility pour seen naka la peace ak tranquility di mën a saxee si réew mi so maa ngi jël di rek pour advice nit ñi tamit jërëjëf.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your comment. I believe this is the end of the press conference. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.